There is no fancy intro of me trying to sound clever. You see the title of the video. It's all about Chainsaw Man. That's it. Some time ago, I reviewed Tatsuki Fujimoto's first series, Fire Punch. Link right there. And thought it was pretty good for the most part. But if you know about Fire Punch, it's almost impossible in this day and age to not know about his other series, Chainsaw Man. Anytime someone would recommend manga to you, there's a big chance it was this story. Everyone knew about it, even from people who didn't read or exclusively watch anime. Well, it's high time I gave my thoughts on it. But I am not alone on this journey. I have someone who is willing to help me with this review. I present to you the lore master, mythological enthusiast, and Fujimoto expert, Zenith Animanga.
Hey, I'm Zenith from the channel Zenith Animanga. Chainsaw Man is just one of my favorite series ever, so it's great to be a part of this. Before getting into the series, it was just one of those manga that I heard about here and there and really just started on a whim, going in pretty blind. And now, here I am, pretty much a super fan, if you will. If you want to see how much of a blatant Fujimoto worshipper I am, you can go right to my channel with several videos ready to go. You want some character analysis? I got one on Denji and one on Makima. You want some video essays? I got one on the horror aspect of Chainsaw Man. If you're a loser like me, there's even some power scaling. I love this series and I will make more videos on it. But yeah, Chainsaw Man good. Adam, take the mic away from me.
We're both here to give our overall thoughts on the new cutting-edge manga and anime filled with blood, battles, and boobs. This is our review of Chainsaw Man.
Now, while you may know Tatsuki Fujimoto from Chainsaw Man, he's actually a mangaka with a much stranger history than that. He did a series of one-shots to get by financially before finally getting serialized in Jump Plus with Fire Punch. You see, the thing about Chainsaw Man is it's Fujimoto put through the filter of Shonen Jump. It's still fucking bizarre, but reading Fire Punch is a much less restrained experience. And then he wrote Chainsaw Man, and that got massive. I'm talking big advertisements and billboards before the anime was even announced. Just absurd levels of popularity, and this basically gave Fujimoto the free pass to do whatever the hell he wanted. In which case, he took a break from Chainsaw Man and just wrote 3 one-shots that have nothing to do with the series and are very good. But that's the thing about Chainsaw Man. It's Fujimoto's insanity put through the sieve of marketability that is Shonen Jump. Whereas Fire Punch has the 3-act structure of a movie, Chainsaw Man has the much more traditional arc structure of a long-running series. Every arc has a specific big bad that is defeated in a climactic fight. It has the classic trio of the high-energy protag, the edgy deuteragonist, and a girl. He takes all of these classic structural tools and stuffs his own style into it. And it works because it makes the story truly unpredictable. Like much later in the series, after the International Assassins arc, it seems to be building up to some big confrontation with the Gun Devil, a fight that it has been building up to since chapter 13. Instead, we get the reveal that it's actually a fight between countries, and we proceed to get the Gun Devil arc and the Control Devil arc, a stretch of chapters that is considered by most fans to be the peak of the series. This typical structure creates this false sense of security, like you can tell what might happen, and it's a sense that Fujimoto is all too happy to rip away, making for a really unique shonen experience.
Characters are an important part of a story. You, of course, can't really have a story without them. And how are they treated in Chainsaw Man? I put it that way because I personally felt that a good number of the characters in Fire Punch, for example, didn't really have much going for them. They were just kind of there. And I specifically mean Agni's disciples. They were given a good amount of screen time and more or less even appeared on one of the volume covers. However, 2 of them didn't even have names and then just died and are forgotten about. They didn't add too much to the story in general. In Chainsaw Man, characters are handled miles better in comparison. They actually have motivation, backstories, personal beliefs, and they have an impact on others and the story. Himio is a prime model for this. She's only alive for a little bit more than a dozen chapters, and that's it. But her death had an impact on Aki, an effect on Division 4, and the story as a whole. And she was fleshed out too. You got everything about her as soon as we met her. It was great. And she's not the only one. Quan Chi, Rize, Kuros, and even fucking Katana Man. They're not just there to fill some quota for the narrative, they're real characters. Aki being the older brother figure who's really cool and just wanted the best for everyone around him. Kishibe being this no-nonsense veteran tough guy. Makima's intense presence that would change and control the world and internet. And villains being chock full of devils, assassins, women, and Santa Claus. They're all great. Except for Power, she kinda sucks. This was made by the Beam Gang. Though, without a doubt, my favorite character is Denji. He's just a fun, dumb guy for a protagonist, and the way in Reason he decides to do things is such a pleasure to witness. His growth as the main character, going from some homeless dude who always got his one ball busted all the time, to killing monsters for work, to an international hero, is really awesome. Plus, I gotta give my man some credit. He's pulled in and fumbled with some of the baddest bitches across the country and more. I love him. He's an absolute mad lad. Denji and Travis Dutchtown have displayed the fact that you should never underestimate a Coomer. Both of them, and especially Denji, would cut down their opponents in pretty gruesome ways. The guy would just cut down almost anything that was in his way. Shit was pretty violent, even for a shonen, and some of the other things that were shown. Everyone would always question, is he allowed to draw this? Which leads into the next aspect that makes Chainsaw Man more distinct than other series. It's the art style and presentation. Fujimoto clearly has a unique and at the very same time simple approach on how he draws and carries the story with his art. It's an easy method of show, don't tell. It's something that's shown in almost every single one of his stories. Hell, jumping ahead, the anime did a great job by adapting this, by having moments where it feels like nothing is really happening, no background music even, but that's just how the scene and moment is played out by having these stretches of downtime, and characters are doing mundane tasks to the point of being able to hear their footsteps and a clock ticking. Heck, you probably didn't even notice that the background music stopped playing here. Something as simple as that adds more weight to it. For the manga, instead of always trying to have panels be filled to the brim of dialogue, text boxes of a narrative, or even thought bubbles, the art is enough to tell you what is happening. And it's mostly done through how he perfectly captures how people move, react, and their expressions. Like, my god, for the action, it's insane. You have blood, guts, body parts being thrown around left and right. All of that is centered in the final fight by having 11 pages of pure unbridled killing. You also see the full scope of emotions through their faces. When characters don't have anything to say, the sense of dread creeping up on them, happiness, sadness, pain, grief, optimism, and so on. It's right there on their faces, from the tiny little wrinkles to even the sweat drops. And I'm looking at you, Kobeni, you dumb little fucking clumsy idiot. I love her. Though, one character that always gave me a sense of uneasiness was Makima. Admittedly, I already knew she was the villain, and in a weird way, I think that makes her character more enjoyable and intimidating, because almost every time you saw her, she had this hollow smile and vacant stare, which always felt like she wasn't just staring at the person she was talking to, but to you, the reader. This is some weird-ass sissy hypno.
When talking about the art of Chainsaw Man, we inevitably end up talking about the devils in this story and just the horror aesthetic in general. Now, I already delved deep into the horror aspect of Chainsaw Man in my own video, and I don't want to repeat myself here too much, but I will say how impressive it is that he makes his manga almost feel like a horror movie. The one scene that really shows this, I think, is chapter 77, when Aki as the gun fiend arrives. That moment is flawlessly built up, from Denji's hesitance to the phone call with Makima to the constant ringing of the doorbell. So many things telling you that something is up, something is wrong, but you can't quite be sure what. And then the silence. several panels that just set the stage with an eerie quiet. Chainsaw Man is exceptional at taking its time with a scene to slowly build up that kind of tension. The devils themselves are really just the cherry on top when it comes to this entire vibe for the series. Fujimoto is just incredibly creative with the designs. There's obvious examples such as the Darkness Devil and its just eerily grotesque body, but smaller examples I love are the creepy Ghost Devil or even just how weird the Snake Devil looks. And yeah, weird is the best way to describe it, because while the horror aesthetic is strong in this series, I wouldn't call it scary. It's an aesthetic that it uses to tell the story, and a lot of the time to surprise you, because when I picture the Darkness Devil, this isn't what I imagine. When I picture Hell, this definitely isn't what I imagine. Everything about it is just so unpredictable, and I think some of Chainsaw Man's success can be owed to how well Fujimoto pulls that off.
Now, after all of that, you could be thinking, come on, there's gotta be one thing you disliked, right? This is you we're talking about. Honestly? No. That goes for both me and Zenith, which is quite a compliment to the series, because a good number of my friends know me for hating almost everything, so the fact the series doesn't really have anything noticeably wrong with it is pretty damn good.
Man, I love this series. I mean, that's why I'm here. I was invited because, and I'm quoting Adam here, I might as well have the Fujimoto fanboy on. Or it was something like that. But damn, I love Chainsaw Man. From the twists and turns, to the great character work, to the constantly expanding lore, I'm just so excited for everything to come in part 2. And if you want to join me along for the ride, do feel free to check out my channel and I'll see you around. It was a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me, Adam. And as for everyone, take care and have a good one.
Chainsaw Man is an absolute banger of the series that knows the story it wants to tell, through its vicious, bloody world filled with devils, to something as straightforward and humble as just wanting to live a good life with no problems. Do you want to be the city mouse or the country mouse? Well, that's for you to decide as you mature and understand that, even at first glance as the world may seem unforgivable and harsh, it's not only that, it's about finding out what makes you happy and content with life. And that is the review of Chainsaw Man. I truly thank my friend Zenith for joining me on this project. It was really fun, so I hope you guys enjoy the video as well, be it newcomers or my usual audience as well. But yeah, that is pretty much it when it comes to the Chainsaw Man review. It's, you know, a rather short story compared to some of the other things that I usually talk about, because it just gets straight to the point, and that's just about it, and it tells its story right then and there. So yeah, there's really not too much to go over anymore. And if there was, I'll just leave that to my friend Zenith. He's the Chainsaw Man expert, so that's all onto him. And you can go check him out there, as he's already plugged this stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. You know what to do with all the links that I provide and everything of the sort. Thank you for watching. That's greatly appreciated, of course. Have a great day, have a great night, and everything else, you know what to do.